be the first to know. This is the Commerce Show. The Commerce Show with Comrade Lante Oriaki, live on Facebook and YouTube. Like us, follow us, and be the first to know. This is the Commerce Show.
Yane sesese ni enegbe wahia mwegbe na ya simi usiri na edonu gboriri ewon me nana wege ya fian ga yarame na gije na afian magi gabie abi pata isigan ke wa kanapa na si ari yoto kian yewo wa kine pe na mu ewe utezi edera mu ihun kioma umiewo ni ari abayo aba kumazi sopan magazo ebi o na ruru pa yotebo ma erebie bi yari doha ọ̀nà ìwìnàrí ọba pa zẹ́ẹ̀rì dọ̀lẹ̀wò wẹ́ẹ́nà rúrú parídùn yẹ̀dọ̀gbọ̀nùyé èèyàrí yé wànà ara yóò bọ́ọ̀lù rí mi ebi náà dùzà ẹ̀rẹ́ ni màyàrí dòrá bí ẹ̀fàn wẹ́ẹ́rì rẹ̀ dòrá ẹ̀ áńgẹ́lì ọ̀rú parẹ̀ do òtún áńgẹ́lì pàrọ̀ ń ó ta gbọ̀n tuyukú gbàgbà yọ̀nẹ̀ bẹ́ẹ̀ ni ara yàrá yóò bọ̀ nù pàmì èyí náà gbà ọ́ díẹ̀ dòyà òsètí tìhún tarótù náà Comrade Lante ìpínwọ́sà ọ̀rẹ́àkì wuvien owutamuta +4474 438 229 094 edonu zomo agege yuwabo o urupa mahin.
Lighting up Edo State together. Be a light angel to Edo State. Donate light to your street today. Let's do it together. This is the Commerce Show. Yes. Nigerians and Edo people across the world, a very good evening to you all. This is the Comrade Show, and of course, this is the segment that we call the Comrade and Friends. My name is Comrade Lante Ikmonsa Oreahi, and of course, on this segment today, we are going to be taking a look around happenings across Nigeria. So many things are happening. On a daily basis, something new is happening. And of course, the biggest amongst them today that is actually on the lips of almost everybody, not just Nigerians, but many people across different parts of this world, is the issue of the ban of Twitter by the presidency of the Nigerian state. That has aroused a lot of issues, a lot of commentaries, a lot of nations are talking about it, individuals are talking about it, Nigerians are talking about it. It's an issue that we cannot stop talking about. And of course, it's unfortunate that the government of the day has refused to understand that they are making a grave mistake. And the biggest error is that Nigeria has a president who believes that all he's doing is right. To help us look at this issue again, giving it different perspectives, as it were, breaking it down. Of course, I have with me in the house the musketeers of the Comrade Show, the Comrade and Friends. We are not going to, take too much time doing this razzmatazz. I'm going to go straight into the program. But I want to apologize quickly for starting this program a bit behind schedule. We've been dealing with some technical issues. But right in the house, I am glad that we have the friends of the Comrade Show, the Musketeers. And for the sake of this program, let me introduce to you Comrade Dr. Tony Agbons. He's right in the house. Dr. Agbons, please.
Thank you very much, my brother, Comrade Lante Ikponwosa Oriahi. Good to see you again, brother. And my brother, Austin Iremira, the pharmacist. Our people, I greet all of you. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good night, depending on where you are watching us in the world. I wish all of you a very happy first Sunday of the new month. Welcome to the Comrade Show. Thank you all very much for joining us.
Yes, right in the house, we equally have the man who has nicknamed this program the Sunday Tonic. And of course, he's not other but Comrade, pharmacist Austin Iremira. Comrade Austin, please.
Thank you so much, my brother Lamte, and my very good brother, Dr. Tony Agbons. And of course, our wonderful viewers, our supporters, and our fans. It's always a pleasure to be here. I love the Sunday Tonic, where we talk about things happening around us. I join my brother Tony to say good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. Make una sit down gidigba as we begin the Nag the Tori.
Okay, Austin, you will just continue from there.
Yeah.
Take us through the first matter.
Thank you so much. We have a few things I'll be talking about today, but what I'm going to be talking about is the news that started trending, I think, from midnight yesterday to this morning, and it was a shocking one: the death of Pastor TB Joshua, who is the pastor, overseer, and founder of Synagogue Church of All Nations in Lagos, Nigeria. Mr. TB Joshua, we understand, is 57 years and would have been 58 on June 12th. He had earlier said in a broadcast a few days ago that he will not be celebrating his birthday on this year because he's trying to follow the current situation regarding COVID and all the other protocols. But I was going to be praying for the nation, only for us to wake up today to hear of this sad event. Mr. TB Joshua started his ministry sometimes around 1993, and he's been there for more than 3 decades now. He has not only become a founding pastor in Nigeria, but is known worldwide and internationally. You agree with me that his death will really be a great loss to the Christian community, to Lagos, Ikotu area, to Nigeria, and even Africa. Join other people to commiserate at this time with the family and to pray that God will accept his soul, and we'll meet again on that resurrection morning, and that God will give the family the strength and the fortitude to bear this very deep loss. So on that note, I want to ask my brother Tony Agbons to make 1 or 2 comments before we go to our brother Comrade Lamte on this sad event.
My brother Austin, for your opening remarks on the passing unto glory of Prophet TB Joshua, one of the great tele-evangelists and philanthropists in Nigeria. So I want to join you to commiserate with his immediate family, his wife and children, and the entire membership of SCOAN, that is the Synagogue Church of All Nations. Joshua is a household name in Nigeria. I have lived near that Ikotun area when I was living in Lagos. So I knew when that church was starting, in the early stages of that church. I was very much quite aware. I pray that God will grant the family the fortitude to bear the loss. Now that this news started filtering in very late last night, and then this morning, it's been trending, and messages are flying in from all over the world. I just want to say that again, we are reminded of the shortness of our time here on this earth. Like one great man said, life is but a stage. We all come to play our parts, and then the curtain is drawn. For TB Joshua, he has come, he has seen, and I think he has conquered, and he has done his bit. I want to say categorically here that despite all the criticisms and all that people say about him, one thing I have noticed, I really followed Prophet TB Joshua, is his humanitarian gesture. He has been a succor to the widows. He has been a shoulder for the poor and the vulnerable in our society. He has done a lot in that Ikotun area where the church is located. He's done a lot, supporting people, and he will be sorely missed. So to that extent, I want to say that we all have lessons to learn, that while we still catch our breath, while we still got the oxygen, let us impart our word. That is what I will say for now, my brother Austin.
Thank you very much. Of course, we'll join the families of TB Joshua, his immediate family, the wife and children, and of course the members of his ministry, and on all those who believe in him, those he touched. We've seen a lot of footages coming out of people crying. I saw a footage of a man who said that his livelihood is majorly dependent on the generosity of TB Joshua, and a lot is beginning to come out to show how well TB Joshua imparted the Nigerian society and beyond. And of course, from the Comrade Show, we commiserate with the families and of course with friends and well-wishers of TB Joshua. Having said that, Nigerian people, like I say, we are in a defining moment as a country. Yesterday, I did say, and I think I repeated it before yesterday, that every day you wake up in Nigeria, something new is happening. Something new is happening. Something new is happening. Now, one of the recent things, making headlines today is the battle, if you may, between the Nigerian government, the executive arm of the Nigerian government, and of course, Twitter. And not just Twitter, by extension, the entire, social media space. Now, leading to this, the presidency of Nigeria issued a statement that many of us, and of course the world, considered a statement of threatening genocide against, agitators in Nigeria. People making agitations bordered on equity as far as Nigeria is concerned, agitations bordered on, a better economy, a better Nigerian state. But all the Nigerian president could do was to come out and, of course, issue very, difficult to comprehend statement, but one that everybody can actually, discern to me that he's threatening genocide. They went ahead to equally post statements regarding regarding his threat on Twitter. And of course, there are different codes guiding different, social media platforms, as it were, and all of that. And of course, looking at the tweets of the president, it did not conform with the rules of engagement as far as Twitter is concerned. Somebody reported, we don't know yet, but somebody did report, because Twitter definitely acts on reports. And of course, reviewing the tweets, and they saw it was inappropriate for Twitter, and that tweet was removed. And by extension, Twitter moved ahead to suspend the account of Mr. Buhari, momentarily for about 12 hours or so. And of course, hell was let loose by the president. Now, the issue is the emotions of the president, the feeling of the president, is principally, the instrument upon which the Nigerian state is governed. And this is an issue. But before much ado, let me, play excerpts of this discourse, the expression of Mr. President, and of course, the friends of the comrade will come and discuss this matter extensively. It's what we're going to do today. Yes, let us take a listen.
It's very clear that they intend to make sure that this administration fails. I'm getting good intelligence report on daily basis. The question of insecurity in the country is being mentioned all over the world, not only here in Nigeria. But I believe there are Nigerians that will attempt at least to be fair. By what I believed, that I will run the country according to the Constitution. Now, with all these people who want power, whoever they are, have they proved that I was not following the Constitution? Well, am I not leading the country according to the Constitution? What do they want? So whoever wanted diversion or destruction of the system at this point, I think will soon have their shock of their lives. I think we have given them enough latitude. They have made their case. They just wanted to destroy the country. Simple. Because what do they want? And we are concentrating on infrastructure because no country or institution can be developed without infrastructure. Now, for those of us who are unfortunate to be in the field for the 30 months of the Civil War, to see the carnage of how we kill ourselves, at least 1 million people, I think those that are misbehaving, they were either too young, they didn't know what happened. But for those of us who went through all these things, we can't understand. So we will treat them in the language they understand. So I feel for your understanding and so on. We are going to be very hard sooner than later. We have done our best to change the service chiefs and the IG. We allow them time to go around to make necessary changes for them to be firmly in charge. We'll try and give them the resources they require, and we will demand security sooner than later. I thank you very much for your presentation.
Now, shortly after saying this, or about the same time, or whatever it is, now the president's Twitter handle tweeted this. Many of those are too young to be aware of the destruction and loss of lives that occurred during the Nigerian Civil War. Those of us in the field for 30 months who went through the war, we treat them in the language they understand. That was a huge threat, a threat of genocide against a particular people, of Nigeria. And that Twitter did not take kindly to, and Twitter suspended, they removed these tweets and of course suspended Mr. President's, Twitter handle for about 12 hours. After which, there was this response from Lai Mohammed. I'm just trying to build a case before we start discussion. And Lai Mohammed, the Commissioner of Information, came out to say this.
The mission of Twitter in Nigeria is very, very suspect. As Twitter deleted the violent tweets that Nnamdi Kanu has been sending, has it? The same Twitter, during the NSAS program, that was funding NSAS protesters, was the first to withdraw, to close the account of former president of US, Trump. And you see, when people were burning police stations and killing policemen in Nigeria during NSAS, for Twitter, it was about the right to protest. But when a similar thing happened on the Capitol, it became insurrection. You see, we are not going to be fooled by anybody. We have a country to rule, and we'll do so to the best of our ability. Twitter's mission in Nigeria, citing those two examples, is very suspect.
Now, Having said that, the very next day, the government announced that they are banning Twitter from the Nigerian space. That was the announcement of the government. Now, it's important we set certain records straight here. And it's important because, you know, they often say that an error left unrefuted leads to intellectual immorality. Now, the assertion or accusation made by Lai Mohammed that Twitter was the one sponsoring the End SARS protests. Now, to the best of my knowledge, I think that is a huge lie. I was part of End SARS protests, and I know so many others who were part of the End SARS protests. Never was it whispered at any fora that Twitter had a hand in the End SARS protests, as he claimed. The president of Nigeria, when he was talking, said that all these people making agitations, they are the ones destroying Nigeria. Now, this same president has not made similar statements against Boko Haram, against banditry, against terrorism, against those that are laying siege, okay, across different parts of the nation, killing people recklessly. As a matter of fact, I'm going to show you some footage right now. This footage, you know, with apologies, viewer discretion, you know, is advised because some of them are very gory. This happened not 2 days ago, not 3 days ago. This happened in Igangan, I think in Oyo State, this last night, early hours of this morning. 20 persons were killed by Fulani herdsmen. 20 Nigerians who slept on Saturday, not knowing that they were not going to wake up alive on Sunday. Let us watch some of this matter, this carnage, you know, by people that the president doesn't talk about. And yet, he says that he is ruling the country following the constitution. And I beg to challenge that, because the primary responsibility of any president is to protect lives and property. If the president cannot guarantee the protection of lives and property, like we see now in Nigeria, the president is not following the constitution. He's not obeying the constitution. He's not ruling Nigeria by the tenets of the constitution. Please, let's just watch.
Àwọn Yorùbá sẹ́ni ti kú. Àwọn Yorùbá bọ̀ ìjọ wọlé. Àwọn Yorùbá ẹni dé. Àwọn Fúlàní ti pààyàn tó ẹni dé ẹjọ́. Ẹ mọ ìdí ọwọ́ ọmọ èèyàn ọmọ Yorùbá ẹni dé. Gbogbo ẹlẹ́sẹ̀ ti rí. Lọ́wọ́lọ́wọ́ bá ni mo ṣe fídíò yìí ní Sunday. Gbogbo iṣẹ́ tí Fúlàní pa tàbá sọ ẹ̀ràn wa kọ́ni lọ́wọ́ ẹ̀ràn ọmọ èèyàn lọ́wọ́ ogun ń bọ̀. Ẹ wòran Ṣógun ò ti dé, Ṣógun ò ti dé, òkú tó wà lẹ́gbẹ̀ẹ́ bá ń sọ̀rọ̀ sí more than 15. Ẹ wòran Ṣógun dé àbí ogun òde, iṣẹ́ Fúlàní lẹ́wọ̀n yìí o. Èní Sunday lọ́wọ́lọ́wọ́ bá gbogbo ilé iṣẹ́ sí rí, gbogbo akọ́nẹ́jọ́ ẹni dé. Wọ́n ti pọ́nmọ́ Yorùbá tó ń bá ẹni dé ẹjọ́ torí Ọlọ́run ẹ má kí àìjẹ wá gbé. Gbogbo ẹ̀ bá ti wo fídíò bá ń pè kó today is 6 èní Sunday, this is war now. Gbogbo yẹn jí kó tá ń sọ fún nìyẹn, ẹ máa ní gbẹgbẹ sí ẹ̀fẹ̀ jí. Àwọn ti pa ọmọ Yorùbá, àwọn Fúlàní ti pa ọmọ Yorùbá gbélé. Fúlàní ti bẹ̀rẹ̀ ogun pẹ̀lú wa, ẹ̀kọ́ tí Fúlàní dánwò. Today is Sunday, ẹ wo òkú èèyàn rẹpẹtẹ lẹ̀, òkú ọmọ Yorùbá lẹ̀ ń wò yìí o, òkú ọmọ Yorùbá.
This is just to mention very few. All across the country is the same story. Killings, and more killings. Under this administration, more Nigerians have died than any other time in the history of the country, apart from the Civil War. And yet, the man seeks to say he is ruling by the constitution. Dr. Agbons, take the first shot, please.
My brother, to be honest, I don't even know where to begin and where to end it. This is very, very, very sickening. You have just established the background of the war going on between the presidency and Twitter. Which Twitter is just, like we all know, is just a media outlet. And I think Twitter just deleted his statement. That was all they did. It was just a delete. They did not remove his account. But true to their type and the high-handedness, Nigerian government have taken this matter above the presidency. I must say, have taken this matter above board. Yesterday, because to be honest, I didn't even know that the president made a speech. I just thought that it was just a written statement on Twitter until I watched this video that you played now. I watched it yesterday. I was like, so he actually said this. To be honest, I wept as a Nigerian. I wept that because what I see in that clip is I could just see that. So is this the extent to which our president can understand what is going on? You know, measuring situation and taking measures and taking action. Like you have said, Comrade Lamte, this last video you showed now happened in Oyo State, Igongon, yes, just last night. 2 or 3 days ago, about 66 people were killed by bandits in Kebbi State in the north. The previous day, over 20 were killed in Benue. And like you said, these killings are just happening all over the place, in the north, in the south, everywhere. And we have not seen this kind of strong language from the president. He has not been saying anything. So I am really taken aback as to why is it that when it gets to the issue of Southeast, the president is so, that is when you will know that he has force, he has action. So I'm trying to find out what is actually going on. So the Boko Haram, the banditry, the kidnapping, the terrorism, he will not give a world press conference on all that. But he will do that when the matter concerns. Yeah, we know that certain things are happening in the Southeast. But the way the presidency is going about it, I must tell you, they are taking our country to the brink of war. And this banning of Twitter operations in Nigeria, for me, I think like you said in one of your programs during the week, they want to gag Nigerians. Because all what Lai Mohammed was saying, the contest, the comparisons he's making, that was a shame. Is this a minister of information for a whole country of 200 million? He doesn't even understand anything. Because all he was saying is putting it out of context. He's not situating anything. It's a huge shame that these are the people that are leading our country. Very sad.
Yes, sad indeed. Really sad. Austin, this president, when he was speaking, he was asking, am I not ruling by the Constitution? Am I not following the Constitution? To what extent, by your own estimation, is this president following the Constitution?
Thank you so much, my brother Lamte. We just said some words of commiseration for TV Joshua. I had not seen the video that you just showed us today. That's another death, another family in trouble and in grief. May their souls rest in peace. And this has become the Nigerian discussion for the last 3 to 4 years. Squarely, the president has not followed the Constitution's treaty census. Like you said, the first thing of any responsible government is the protection of life and properties. Life and properties of Nigerians doesn't mean anything anymore. And that is the first responsibility. To that extent, he hasn't at all followed, kept, or obeyed the constitution we presently practice, even though myself and many we are against it. That shows how parochial, how self-centered this government is. You are parading that just only on one segment. Probably that would mean, as a president, I'm duty bound to appoint ministers from your state. Did I not do it? Every other thing become inconsequential. And that is where we are. In the course of playing your video, I want to bring out 2 things. The president said they have made their cases. I get intelligence report Fantastic. So we now know that the president is not, he will not say he's not aware, because he has said he gets intelligence report and people from the Southeast have made their case. Then the question I would ask, as a responsible father, by virtue of your position as president, have you listened to the cases made by your children? What effort have you taken to bring them together to hear, haven't heard that they've made a case? And this has been continuing for a very long time, for years to come. Then the second statement, you are aware that they've made their cases. You are aware that they are aggrieved. You are now telling them that you are going to deal with them in the language that they understand. And the language they understand correctly is to kill and shoot at them. Forget about governance. Let's look as a family. By virtue of you being president, everybody in Nigeria are your children. And God has also blessed you with a reasonable number of age. So we can say that you are an elderly person. Will you give your children the language they understand, because they become versed with certain actions that they don't like that you do? As a president bounded by constitutional law, is that what you are supposed to do? The answer is clearly no. So with these examples I've given, I'm just trying to establish, to say that our president and indeed the government have failed in keeping to the tenets of the Constitution. And like Tony Agbon said, why is there aggressive reaction to only one segment of the country when they do go out of board? When other people, other things are happening that should be addressed. It's only when the issue of Southeast and possibly the killing of cows that we see our president stand up and rise to face the occasion. Would I be going to talk about the Twitter issue and the laughable comment made by the Minister for Information, who I understand is a lawyer, and to compare Twitter issues with other countries and with NSAS to the situation at hand? It is really sad and it's painful. Many Nigerians are praying, let 2 years just come and let us get out of this. Our president has failed us. You must listen to the pulse of the nation and stand to be counted among men. The failures to take decisions and to do the right thing has led us to where we are. You cannot play God, and you cannot not also be tribalistic. It is clear that this is where they are going to. But I am sad that this is one too many, and the National Assembly and those empowered to ask questions are not asking questions. June 12th is a few days away. There are many protests being planned. Is the president now going to send military men to kill them? Are we not in democracy where we have to talk? I grew up under the military. I never knew this amount of deaths. In democracy, that I was told is government of the people, by the people, and for the people, we are seeing loads of deaths. Death means nothing anymore. Twitter, cows are preferred to Nigerians. It is indeed sad.
Thank you very much. Tony, I'm going to ask you this question, but I want to lay foundation for this question. But the question is basically, is it that this president doesn't know what he's doing, or everything that is happening right now under this president's nose, and his approach to these things, they are premeditated? Now, before you answer the question, I have a footage. I like Nigerians to see. Let us begin to draw some correlations, and begin to, know how we are judging, Mr. Buhari. Sometimes I'm even ashamed to call him a president, because he does not, as far as I'm concerned, does not merit, that title at all, So I mean, for the sake of this whole program, allow me to call him Mr. Buhari. Okay, when he was elected, immediately after election, he was interviewed. Okay, he had this, press conference. This is an excerpt of it. This is what Mr. Buhari had to say. Let us take a listen.
Last two questions, and briefly, Dr. Pauline Baker.
Mr. President, welcome. And I've been a student of Nigeria for many years, and first of all, I want to tell you that I have never seen such a hopeful attitude toward Nigeria and the United States as since your election. So I think we all here want you to succeed. My question relates to another area of Nigeria that hasn't gotten much attention during this trip, and that is the Niger Delta. It's a challenge that you're going to face. I wonder if you would tell us how you intend to approach it with particular reference to the amnesty, bunkering, and inclusive development. Thank you.
Inclusive government. Inclusive government. You know, how you include, women, youth.
I see. Yes. I hope you have a copy of the election results. Naturally, constituencies, for example, that gave me 97%, cannot, in all honesty, be treated on some issues with constituencies that gave me 5%. I think this is a political reality.
I want Nigerians to judge. Tony he says, oh my God, the constituencies that gave him 97% or 5% should not expect the same treatment as those that gave him 97%. And he went further to say those are political realities. Now, when the question was asked about Niger Delta, now, I'm going to play another excerpt of an interview with Al Jazeera that came up again recently. It's an old one though, came up again, and look at the response is giving to the agitations of the Biafra people before you answer the question. Let us watch this, please.
They are protesting peacefully for the most part on a regular basis, and there has been video. I could show you some video that's been posted of a very...
No, thank you.
These are the images the president didn't want to see. They're on the internet and we can't verify exactly what they show, but it appears as though security forces were shooting at unarmed protesters in the southeastern state of Abia. This is footage I can't personally verify, but it looks as though the security forces have gone in very heavy-handedly shooting, and there were reported to be 7 deaths. I'm wondering, how are you planning to deal with this issue of Biafra? You, of course, have first-hand experience.
After a 30-month civil war, at least 2 million Nigerians were killed. And for somebody to wake up, maybe he wasn't born when there was this fighting in Biafra and said he wants Biafra again. We have multi-party democracy system now. Let them organize themselves and vote for to have a state within a state. But to try and interfere with movement of troops, with economy, looking for Biafra, after losing 2 million people, I think they are joking with Nigerian security, and Nigeria will not tolerate it.
Why don't you invite them for talks?
Why should we invite them?
For the most part, they appear to be young people, as you say, with no recollection
they didn't know what
of
what
the war,
happened.
the 1967-70 war. But these are disaffected young men for the most part, but young women as well, who are protesting, it would appear, against their reduced economic opportunities. Government allocations to state governments in that region have been reduced by something like 50%. These people want
How much
jobs.
was oil costing? For the last 16 years, it was costing from over $140 per barrel, now to sometimes under 30. So the system of allocation has to correspondingly be reduced. So why shouldn't it affect them if it's affecting the whole of Nigeria? From where do we get the money to give them?
Okay, Mr. President, I think our time is up, and I need to thank you very much indeed for taking the time to speak to me and for speaking to Al Jazeera. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
He even resented the interviewer when the matter of Biafra came up. This was some time ago, probably. Anyway, Dr. Agbons, I want you to come in, my brother.
Yeah. Just like I said before, Comrade Lamte, there are several of these.
Sorry, sir. The question is this:
There are several of these. I've written
with
your
this
question down.
establishment,
I've
is
written
this
your
man
question.
governing us? You know, are these things premeditated, or he just doesn't know what to do?
I don't think they are premeditated. I don't think so. What I think with the president we have now is that he doesn't have the capacity. You see, governance is not milk and bread, and no matter how we try to paint it, because when you look at his body language, and then like Austin was saying, when you compare what Boko Haram has been doing, what bandits are doing recently now, and the way he will not say anything. But when it gets to the issue of Niger Delta, Southeast, you look at the president, then you will know that, this man, see, he can even talk. Because all we always hear is that, the president is taciturn, he's very quiet, is this. But when it gets to the issue of this Southeast, especially the Southeast, the president is always very angry. Like you said, you see the way he's resenting even the Al Jazeera interviewer. He's even stopping her, doesn't even want to watch the video. Excuse me, if it is not by force to be a president, you say you wanted to be. So if you think you don't have the capacity, allow other people to do it. Because the way he is going now, he's just showing us that he's nepotistic, he's tribal. Because it's just like, I don't want to, when it gets to the issue of cow, Mieti Allah and the bandit and Boko Haram, the president is very silent. He will not say anything. But when it gets to the issue of Niger Delta, gets to the issue of Southeast, that is when you'll be hearing Operation Python Dance, Olu invasion. So it is not good. And these are the things. Let me finish. And these are the things.
Does that not presuppose that this man knows exactly what he's doing?
I have not in his mind, but his action shows that he may know what he's doing. But the signal he is sending, because I must tell you, there have been so many people who don't even want to listen to Nnamdi Kanu. They don't want to hear what iPod is saying or whatever. But with the way the presidency has been handling this matter, a lot of them are now having sympathy for what Nnamdi Kanu is saying. You understand? So the iPod, though is proscribed, they are now beginning to have traction.
Nobody can prescribe them. They are not prescribed, my brother.
According to the Nigerian government.
That's nonsense paper talk. Anyway, sorry, bro.
So that is the point where we are. So the president, his capacity, that is what he understands. So he's just there. He doesn't know what to do. Because you cannot be high-handed toward a particular region and then be soft-handed towards those that are even worse. So there's no fairness, there's no equity.
Austin Remira, does this man, can't we actually just come to the conclusion that this man knows exactly what he's doing, because he's not treating everybody the same way, particularly when it comes to the issue of the Biafra people? This is a matter that previous presidents have managed since after the Civil War. The issue of Biafra, has always been on the table. And everybody, all the presidents that we've had, as poorly as they have done, they've all had a way of dealing with it to keep this agitation, very low until now. With all this happening, sir, is it not fair to say that this man knows exactly what he's doing and he has an agenda for Nigeria that Nigerians don't yet know? Austin, please.
Thank you so much, my brother Lamte. I will beg to differ slightly from my very respected brother, Dr. Tony Agbons. I know sometimes we are in the public and we want to be a bit very conservative. But to answer your question very squarely, I think Buhari knows exactly what he's doing. I also think he is in charge. And I also think and conclude that these are premeditated. I'm not saying it by words of mine. I am saying it and coming to that conclusion by the things on ground and the things that is done by this government. I was coined in 2015, like many Nigerians. I had thought that democracy has come to stay, and never in my lifetime will something like this happen. And we all voted or supported him in the first term because we came to the conclusion that our country was divided primarily, basically on corruption, and that Buhari, having treaded on the name of righteousness, will come and fight corruption and we get our country back. Little did we know that there were other agenda. I also come to the conclusion that what we are seeing now, our president would have done it in the first term. The only reason why it wasn't possible was because he had not hijacked the National Assembly. Had he hijacked the National Assembly as it is now, I have come to the conclusion that we would have seen all these things in the first term. To that extent, I say it is deliberate. I also want to say, I may be wrong, sorry to those that have lost their life. I have also painfully come to the conclusion that the killings in the north are not real. I can't verify this, but I'm thinking there is a drama playing here. Because every day you hear this kidnap from schools and all. You never see their teachers. We never get close to people that have really been affected. But we hear the stories every time. I might just be talking of the core north. And we know that the killings in the south and even the west of Nigeria has become very real. Lamptey, no president, no father, which me and you have become, will sit and see bloodshed. I cannot believe that our Nigerian army has become so weak and moribund. So those are the things that have been playing in my mind for a very long time. We never saw this coming because we believe in true Nigeria. But why I reel out all these many negative, I want to give us hope by taking us to the Bible, that they said when God wanted to deal with Pharaoh, he had in his heart. God has given us a hardened man destined for tribalism. And I think we also have the opportunity with his presence to get it right and set Nigeria aright. If Buhari succeeds in what he's about to do, there will be no Nigeria. But I'm sure he will not. And at the end of the day, Nigeria will be better for it. No government, to be frank, will sit and just fold his hands. Yes, you would have made political statements shortly after your victory. You might not be happy because they didn't give you enough vote. I'm not judging him on that, but I'm judging him on his actions. And his actions have shown otherwise. You cannot have two children. You give one a pat on the back, and the other one, whatever he says, whether good or bad, you are very aggressive. And this is what it has come to be. Nigerians are not asking for too much. They are just asking for good leadership. And like you posited, these problems of the East has been there for a very long time. It has become so clear because the leadership has changed stance. Other leaders before now made a bit of control measures. They didn't totally resolve the issue. But this president has taken his eyes off that particular region and he seemed not to care. I am still waiting for the Chibok girls. I haven't seen the principals. I haven't seen the children. I have a doubt in my mind that these are all being orchestrated to give a semblance that things are happening there when they are not. I've come to that conclusion painfully. I may be right. And my apologies to those who would have died by this action if they actually. But I think if the president, if these were not premeditated, if these were not his prior agenda, he shouldn't have allowed them to continue to happen. It's one too many. And for me and you, Lamptey, there is no hope that this will change. So my conclusion remains.
Thank you very much, my brother. I'm going to take you guys again through, another, analogy. When I listened, earlier today when I heard the news of the passing of TB Joshua, I took time to go around, surf the internet and all of that, and I did come across on 2 or 3 different occasions on different people's platforms. Some people were openly expressing that suppose it was Buhari that this happened to, it would have been better for Nigeria. As sad as it is, they had a lot of welcoming comments for such statements. Anyhow, somebody drew our attention in one of the comment sections and said Nigerians should be calm because there was a certain African president, I think he mentioned Tanzania or so, who did the same thing that the Nigerian government is doing right now, banned Twitter. And of course, this African president died the same year. And he says, the person was writing, said he's expecting a similar thing to happen in Nigeria. Well, we cannot determine what God wants, but we want Nigeria to be free and free from the grip of wickedness that we are currently experiencing from the president of Nigeria, the man they call Mr. Buhari. Having said that, by way of reactions trailing the issue of Twitter and everything, this is what the American mission, U.S. mission, Nigeria statement had to say. This statement came out on the 5th of June, which was yesterday. And it reads, Nigeria's constitution provides for freedom of expression. The government's recent Twitter ban undermines Nigerians' ability to exercise their fundamental freedom and sends a poor message to its citizens, investors, and businesses. Banning social media and curbing every citizen's ability to seek, receive, and impart information undermines fundamental freedom. As President Biden has stated, our need for individual expression, open public conversation, and accountability has never been greater. The path to a more secure Nigeria lies in more, not less communication, alongside concerted efforts towards unity, peace, and prosperity. End of statement. That is coming from the U.S. mission in Nigeria. U.S. mission in Nigeria. Reminding Nigerians that the quasi-constitution we have, or document we have as constitution, still recognizes, the essence of a fundamental, of a freedom of speech as part of our fundamental human rights, as it were. Dr. Agbons, what would you have to say to this statement by the U.S. mission in Nigeria?
Yeah, I read that statement yesterday. Very, very well measured, and I think apart from that statement, even the European Union, the UK government, Canada, and a host of other leading countries in the world, they have condemned the actions of the Nigerian government banning Twitter. For me, I think they just saw an opportunity. That is why, because I always look at the strategic side of things sometimes. Certain times, people don't do things premeditatively. What they do is that they snap at opportunity. Yeah. So the Nigerian government have used this opportunity. They've been having this issue with Twitter. If you remember, Twitter located its headquarters in Ghana. If you remember, because of some other issues and all that. So the Nigerian government have been looking for. I'm coming.
Dr. Agbons, can't we say that they are vindicated for going to Ghana?
Yeah, they are. So I'm coming. So the point I'm going to is that what the Nigerian government is targeting is not even Twitter. It's the Nigerian people. I listen to your program. So
Yes.
this is why sometimes when people say premeditation, people, you see, Those that wants to destroy, it's just 1 inch they see and they take it. So they've been looking for an opportunity to get at Twitter, because the Nigerian people, they use Twitter a lot. And I tell you, if you notice, I was even thinking we'll go there. Look at what the Attorney General of the Federation, Malami, look at what the statement he later released as well. So it's the Nigerian people. Okay, you just delete the tweet of one person in a country of 200 million. Then because of that person, you are preventing the other people from having their freedom of expression. And that is what the US statement is actually hitting at. So it is just an opportunity they are seeing to gag the Nigerian people. And I must tell you, that cannot happen. A lot of people have gone using VPN and other tech options. People are still tweeting. Let's see how many people they'll be able to arrest.
Sadly, this is the sad aspect of it. Sadly, I checked earlier today. I probably should have snapshot that all of the federal parastatals, all of the ministers of this government, their Twitter handle is still functional. You are banning Twitter. You are making the announcement on Twitter that you are banning Twitter. The same handle they used to make the announcement on Twitter that Nigeria has banned Twitter, that same handle is still functional. That same handle is still right there on Twitter. Now, Austin, I'm coming to you with this question right now. The Attorney General of the Federation, Malami, came out yesterday, issued a statement, deliberately asking the police to go after those who will flout the rules. Now, what we expect is that the police, the Nigerian police, many of whom have displayed cowardice, will now go to the streets of Nigeria, controlling people and collecting their telephones to find out whether they have Twitter application. And that will lead to another widespread corruption from the police. They will start intimidating people. They will start beating up people. But let me pose this one to Nigerian police. Nigerian police have no right to ask anybody for their phones to check whether they have Twitter. If the Nigerian government has banned Twitter, let them go to the wavelength, go to the airspace of Twitter and ban Twitter. If anybody is able to access Twitter on his own telephone, okay, let it be that it is the Nigerian government that does not have the capacity to actually effectively police Twitter in Nigeria. The fault must not be on the hungry man, hungry Twitter user. Okay, some of them is their business. So the Nigerian police should be warned not to catch in on this situation, because we will come at them with everything we've got. And Nigerian police must understand that we are all in this together. They must be wise enough to understand that they should not catch in on this situation and begin to intimidate Nigerians and begin to, to seize people's telephone, collect money and bribe because they have Twitter application. If you have banned Twitter, okay, do it from the wavelength. Go to the airspace and do it. If anybody is able to access Twitter by whatever means, then it is your failure and your incapacity to actually ban Twitter. And that should be the case. Anyhow, Comrade Austin, how do you assess Malami's statement demanding and asking that people flout the rule should be prosecuted, when I know that the only way people can flout this rule is to still be operating Twitter on their telephones? So I don't know how do you reconcile all of this madness right now taking place in Nigeria?
Thank you so much, my brother Comrade Lamte. Our story has become laughable, but is yet serious. I want to call this government as it is now the government of the 2 Ps. They are power drunk and they don't know what their priorities are. You just sort of made a statement of what Malami said just now. Let me calm Nigerians down. The Nigerian police doesn't have the capacity. Forget about even if they have the power. They don't have the capacity to even go to people's phones. The country is hemorrhaging for security from civil to dangerous ones. We've not even been able to control that. Is it the issue of going to people's phone and checking if they are using Twitter that the police can afford? The government just come out, make statements without having proper plans and procedure in place. And just to also add, how can they ban Twitter anyway? I have spent the last time talking to friends that are highly technical in this regard. And it's a decision just on the lips of the government and probably in the memos of the government. Nigeria doesn't even have the technical wherewithal to carry on through with their threats. We are just like a system and a people of zombie, just moving here and there. I mean, Malami is a lawyer. Do we not have a body regulating law? Even though you are in the government setting, there are certain statements that you bring out. Like we say in the West, they say you are bringing disrepute to the body that you stand. Where is NBA to send a note of caution or warning and even removal of Malami's name from the list kept for learned personnel in Nigeria, including that of Lai Mohammed? Our story has become the story because we don't have respect for constituted authorities and even for our laws. We make statements with the reckless abandon without thinking of the implications that this will have for individuals, for government itself, and for our country. Although we haven't talked about this, look at the recent appointment by the president of the Chief of Army Staff, where a whole course, class of 35 and class of 36, were obliterated, and we now consider class of 37. In a country where we need our generals to stand in moment of heightened security difficulties. My brother Dr. Abbas once said this, that if you lose an elder, it is said in the Benin culture that you are losing library of history. And history is very important to fight current issues happening. So I think the government is focused. What they are focused on is just how to destroy Nigeria. That's their focus. And they are following that focus to the latter. Because it's like an erosion. You are just coming. You need to consider the effect of your actions. You need to consider the effect of your actions. You don't become so flippant. You don't just make decisions because you are just bent on wanting to take one and one away. At this time where we need cooperation, you cannot be dragging yourself and fighting other nations directly or indirectly. What of your Nigerians that are employed in agencies where Twitter operates? What becomes of their daily living and earnings? So it is just sad. Every day you don't know where to start from. And like I said, this government has taken over the last hope of the common man, which is the National Assembly. We don't even know the difference between the National Assembly and the government. So that means they will continue to put all these troubles and problems on Nigerians until we have another election. It is very sad. We should listen to ourselves, but people are not standing and speaking for the helpless Nigerian. And now we are even talking for the sake of our country, Nigeria. If there will be Nigeria tomorrow, our actions today will determine that. And I thought they once said that the president is not very good in English. I'm still wondering who would have put that statement in Twitter. Maybe not directly him, maybe one of his aides. That is a Nigerian as well. What was going on in the head of that Nigerian when he was typing that on the Twitter handle? We hear that in US, the SY president used to type his own by himself. So he was guilty of what he did. If we press further now, it will be one of the aides that have done it for him. When are we going to stand to save this country? It is laughable, my brother. And I don't even understand if Malami is a lawyer. I think the NBA should rise up and speak because one of their own is dragging them to the mud.
Thank you very much. I think I just want to draw our attention to something. why, this Twitter matter is ongoing right now, everybody's talking about it, is, making all the wave and all of that. Real genocide is already taking place in the East. There's a serious clampdown right now on the Easterners. They are looking for anybody who professes Biafra right now. That is not in the news. A lot is happening in Enugu. A lot is happening in fact, as a matter of fact, a huge market in Onitsha got burnt seriously just recently. Arson. Meanwhile, people are being killed now. Serious guerrilla warfare. Guerrilla warfare now orchestrated by the Nigerian government using the instrument of state to kill the Nigerian people. Suffice to state that agitations for self-determination is not anything strange to this world. The Charter of United Nations does not frown at it. As a matter of fact, encourages it. That indigenous people can seek self-determination. As we speak, as advanced as United Kingdom, Scotland is about tabling, a motion to have a referendum to have independence. As we speak, the Catalan region of Spain, they are in fact, for over the years, they've been wanting to separate from the Spanish states. Under this same one world that we live, we had a Soviet Union that was made up of several countries, if I'm not mistaken, up to between 5 and 9. Today, everybody, they've gone their separate ways and all of that. So it's not a new thing. And when you now juxtapose all of this against the backdrop of the way we were married as a people, ordinarily, some of us are not supposed to even, in fact, we are not supposed to even know each other, talking of calling each other, saying we are from the same country. I don't have anything. By the history I am told, there is nothing that joins me and a dumb man from the south part of Nigeria. There is nothing that connects me with the man, the Fulani man in Kaduna or Kano. We don't have any historical relationship, economically or otherwise. The marriage of the Nigerian state is a false marriage. It's a marriage that needs to be reviewed. And that is what this agenda is about. Say, let us discuss. People want to have a referendum. This thing was done. Our ancestors did not have a say. Some human beings from Britain came for their own convenience. They did this marriage. It has not been working since the very beginning. Immediately they married us and called us Nigeria and gave us independence. Less than 6 years. The resentment had already started. As a matter of fact, before independence, in 1957, Anthony Nahoro moved a motion for self-government. The Northerners said, no, it will be as at when practicable. And when practicable was going to be when the British people were going to leave governance in their hand. It's always been this divide and rule kind of arrangement. Since we had a first military coup in January 15, by July we had another one. By 67, we started a civil war. Everything about this country had already established that something is wrong with this country. Something is wrong with us being together and calling ourselves one nation. Today, they started their manafiki again. And what they are not doing, they have used the instrument of states. The National Assembly is already a stooge now, to the presidency. They now come out from the House of Representatives to say they want to change the name of Nigeria to United African Republic. Which, the first signal that shows to me is that they want to mirror United Arab Emirates. Just like I said, that the Nigerian state has been registered as an Islamic state. So they want to call it United African Republic. Which, by the way I've looked at it from afar, opens the doorway to consolidate the Nigerians, the Malians, to not make Nigeria their home state. Dr. Agbons, United African Republic. I don't know what you are thinking.
Yeah, thank you, my brother, Comrade Lamte and pharmacist Iremira, for all your depositions so far. I cannot fault any of them. Lamte has just introduced a new one with this the suggestion for a new name. I saw that post on social media. I was just laughing. I said, we, like Austin said, we are just, at the moment, we are just all over the place. I think for me, I'm even looking beyond this name or nomenclature. We really need to discuss our Nigerianness, if there is anything like that. Because like you have gone to history now, right from this marriage that started in 1914, all has not been well. And we've been managing and managing ourselves, but as we speak, things are falling apart and the center can no longer hold. So Nigeria currently is not working, and it is not going to work. And that is why, for me, I have been a strong advocate of the restructuring of this country. But as it is now, even people are even saying that since they don't even want to restructure, let us all go our separate ways. I must tell you, in Yoruba land now, in the southwest, there's serious agitation over there. They want their own republic. Niger Delta, they want their own republic. Those of us from the former Midwest, Bende, we want our own. So maybe these people in the north, yeah, they actually got their own. And I even listened to a video recently where somebody in the north even said they are even ready now, that previously they used to oppose the solution of the country. He said, but now they are even ready. They don't even want this marriage. The thing is not working. Nigeria is not working. Let us tell ourselves the truth. Because you bring suggestion, you say, okay, let's have a dialogue. The southern governors had a meeting, the Senate president and all that, they went after the governors. So what do they want people to not do again? So this marriage is not working. So the earlier we all get this into our thick skin, the better for all of us. What I will just pray that doesn't happen, this agitation should not result in the killing of innocent people, loss of life and all that, because that would portend great dangers for people living in Nigeria.
Austin Iremira, United African Republic. What are you thinking, sir?
Call it United African Republic, United Niger Delta, United Kaduna, United Lagos. Give it any name that you want to give. If it is not restructured, these agitations will keep coming and coming and coming. It is not the name. It is the structure and the foundation. Whether you like it or not, people will continue to agitate. You gave an example in Scotland. If you live in the United Kingdom, you will ask yourself, why are the Scottish people seeking for separation? I work in the health industry. As far as the health sector is concerned, Scotland is enjoying themselves. If you live in Scotland, you don't pay for prescription charge as it is with England. But yet, they still want to go their separate ways. Why did I bring that analogy? It is what people want. If they see that they are not enjoying it, they have every right. So gagging the country under a nomenclature still will not address the issue. I gave an example, I think I've given it here before, to tell you how dangerous that constitution that we have is. How can the president be the person that would appoint a vice chancellor for a university far away from Abuja? It is our constitution that gave the president that right. I cannot imagine the Prime Minister of United Kingdom being responsible for the appointment of a vice chancellor in University of Reading far away somewhere in the United Kingdom. I'm giving that example just to show how unsound, unwise, and unrealistic the 1999 Constitution is. And rightly so. If our Constitution gives one man all the power, my brother Lamte and Tony, you can do and undo. And Buhari at the moment is doing and is undoing. But what he's doing is for the betterment of just a few and not for the generality of the entire country. So that will not work. The names will be changed and changed and changed, like names have been changed before to the current Nigeria. Change will continue to happen, but the country need to be restructured for us to move forward. The power is too concentrated at the center. The power to fire, the power to hire, it has to be separated. If Nigeria were to be United States, Donald Trump was not any different from President Buhari in terms of power. So that's why constitutions are there to control us and to put us in place. Whether we go from now till tomorrow, the country has to be restructured, not for the betterment of the Southerners, not for the betterment of the Westerners, but for the betterment of Nigerians, including the North, so that we can all make progress. There comes a time in life you might be beclouded, thinking you are comfortable in your zone. But when you come out of that zone, you see maximum prosperity. Nigeria is not going to suddenly operate this and you prevent Easterners from living in the West, Westerners from living in the... That's not what we are all about. What we are talking about is progress and moving our country forward. It is sad that we have come to this stage. A country with millions of professors, millions of first degree holders, millions of master degree holders, millions of good and viable artisans. This is what we can produce. Then there is something wrong with our constitution. What we gave ourselves is what we are seeing now. And when you see somebody that is hell-bent on doing what he believes in to the detriment of the entire country, this is what you see. Even the babies yet unborn, they know Nigeria problems. Our president has lived through the war. He's a military general. What is me and you going to say to Buhari that he doesn't already know? He has a road path and he's following that. But it's not going to work. And I want to also advise the Eastern Security Network. I think in this day and age, it's not fire for fire anymore. You have to use intellect for fire. I think, I may be wrong, where we are going to now is a situation where 2023 will come and we will be told Nigeria is in a state of emergency because of the killings. We cannot have our elections. So the Eastern people should think and think properly. We need to be strategic. The approach to this must not be fire for fire. And we cannot continue to kill our own and burn government establishment as a way of making protests. These guys are smarter. And somebody just said on our chat, it may even be the power that be in the federal government that are making these sponsors and killing, so that a state of emergency will be declared in 2023. And our present president will remain there, like they say in English, sine die, which is indefinitely. So we need to be careful. We need to approach this with tact, as many other regions are doing, like the Ododuwa region, going to the court of, I think the special court and the United Nations to gradually make a case. Because the National Assembly, which would have been the place where we would have started, they failed us. We have only two options: approaching it strategically and wait patiently for 2023, where we can then decide again what we need to do.
Thank you very much, Austin. You know, in the spirit of what you just said now, you know, I'm going to come to Dr. Agbons. Dr. Agbons, ordinarily, you know, we are supposed to have separation of powers, okay? You know, but right now we have, you know, this sort of fusion of power we have between the legislative arm and the executive arm is such that, in fact, there is no strand of morality that even supports this. Now, we have an executive arm of government that are not responsive to Nigerian people, and we equally have a National Assembly that is not helping, to the extent that the members of the National Assembly, many of them are beginning to turn against their own in protests. Let us listen to what I've forgotten this senator's name, but this is what he had to say. He had to say over this issue of insecurity.
For our nation, we must look for foreign support to save this nation. This is my position, Mr. President. We must rise to it. They are killing people in the east, in the west, in the south, in the north. We should shut down the National Assembly. Let's shut down. If we cannot save this country, we stay in our homes. Our country is bleeding. People are in poverty. There's no food. People are hungry. Insecurity is threatening us. We cannot pretend. It's better we are not here than to not see that here people are dying every day for our nation.
That's the voice of a senator of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. And the man is advising that if the National Assembly cannot rise up to the occasion, the National Assembly should be shut down. We are supposed to be having a protest on the 12th of June. Should the National Assembly right now not be a major target by Nigerians? Dr. Agbons.
Yeah, thank you, Comrade Lamte. And I want to join you to say that it is sad and pseudonic, if I'm going to quote one of our guys in Edo, I used to speak grammar those days. We don't have a National Assembly. And I say this without any apology to anybody. Because the merger between the legislative arm of government in Nigeria and the executive, the glue holding them together is stronger than Aradites. They are together. So we don't, and that is one of the major problems we have had since 1999. Since 1999, and this current National Assembly is even the worst. They just, licking the ass of the executive. They don't challenge anything. When Bukola Saraki was there, at least we saw some challenges. Was challenging the president that time. It was Ken Unamane that stopped third-term agenda of Olusegun Obasanjo that time. They stood. But this current National Assembly, they are not just there. So, and these are the areas that Nigerians should take the fight to. The National Assembly in all countries is the parliament, the Congress, the Senate that represent the people. But we don't have. They are just there collecting their salaries and emolument and benefits and millions upon millions. They are just sharing money. So it's very sad. For me, I just take it that we don't. And that is the reason why we are having, everybody is taking their destiny into their hands. You have Sunday Igbo in the West. You have this Nnamdi Kanu becoming more popular in the East. Because people are not being represented. So there is a vacuum. And this vacuum has to be filled. So, my brother, we don't even have National Assembly, so I don't even have to, say too much on that. We don't have, because they are not alive to their responsibilities. And it's not they are doing kangaroo constitutional review and moving from one place to the other.
Thank you very much. Well, Nigerians, on this particular subject matter, this may be the much we can say, we can take. However, a few things have come out of this. And one of them is that the people of Biafra, they have a right to demand for referendum. Nigerian people have a right to demand for referendum. It's within, the confines of what the guiding principles of this world guarantees. They should not be killed. But today, the tyrant we have as president, has made it a point of duty to kill everybody who stands in the opposite direction. He has developed, in fact, it's always been like that though. He's got impervious skin against criticism. He doesn't want to hear. He is Mr. Right. And therefore, anybody that's at that attempt to think the other way that he is not thinking, the person should be marked for death. And that is the situation we've had in this country. It's what we've had under Buhari. It is the reason why every Nigerian, we believe, must and should resist Buhari. On the part of the Easterners, on the part of the Igbos, we are advising from here that I remember back then when we were in the university, you know, I had an SUG president who came up with the idea that, you know, our looter at the level of university should not be by way of violence. We have to now develop what he called intellectual looter. I think it is time that the agitations of the IPOP team should be more intellectual than, you know, this brazen act of violence that we see sometimes. Again, I advise, like many of us are doing, like the target must not be the infrastructure of the Eastern nation, the Biafra nation. The target should be negotiations. The target should be carrying everybody along. The target should be respectful discussion in a way that everybody will understand the plight, so that at the end of the day, more nations will honestly and truthfully join the Biafra nation to demand holistically for referendum, to demand for restructuring, to demand for that national discourse. Because we all agree that if we must live together as one indivisible nation, it is essential that we revisit our Nigerianness. 60 years, the same old story. It is time to change course and try something else and see if it will be better. We cannot perpetually live generations after generations after generations under this yoke of partiality, yoke of all sort of nonsense. And of course, to my Edo people, I want to say that the doomsday may not be far at all. I therefore want to enjoin the Edo security apparatus, both seen and unseen, spiritual and physical, witchcraft and wizard. All of you come together to defend the Edo land. It's important. Because there may be no Nigeria tomorrow. We won't be surprised. But there will always be Edo State. There will always be Delta State. There will always be Bender. There will always be Midwest, depending on how we want to, name it, or how we want to do it. So it's essential now that we come together to defend the territory of the Midwest region, to defend the territory of the Edo State against this Fulani herdsmen that are killing brazenly from left to right, north to south. We must rise to the occasion. And the time is now. We cannot afford to wait for tomorrow. So it therefore means that every arsenal we've got to activate them. You are an engineer. You are good with, making weapons of defense and all of that. Please, and you are from Edo State, please put your talent to good use. Come to the state. Even if, you will get support. Even if government will not be able to, recognize you or give you support because of, the constitution those in government have sworn to. Believe me, there are many of us who will give you support. Let us come together and defend our home front. We will not go out and attack anybody, but we must defend the Edo land with everything we've got. Let us defend Delta with everything we've got. With these people, the Midwest, we have a common heritage. Our history intertwined. Our culture intertwined. And we have huge similarities amongst us, even beyond our own shores, down to even the east, to the west. We have some relationships that are historical. The people who are complete strangers to us, they are the Fulanis. And that is the truth of the matter. And so therefore, if Nigeria must be a nation that is indivisible, the different nations making Nigeria must sit at that round table to discuss what the future of this country should be, if we must have a country called Nigeria or United African Republic or whatever name we want to call it. We equally have, made it very clear that changing the name from Nigeria to United Arab Emirates or United United African Republic does not solve any problem. The problem, as a matter of fact, that name we believe is a cover for wickedness, to bring in more foreigners into the land to take over our land, and we reject it in totality. That is not what our problem is. If that becomes our problem and it becomes an issue we need to address, we must sit together. There must be a referendum to decide what that should be, not somebody waking up and telling us it should be this and it should be that. God forbid, God forbid, and God forbid. One of our members here did make an assertion that I tend to align with, and that is that the killings they are reporting from the core north, we have reasons to believe they are fake. We have reasons to believe they are not real. We have reasons to believe that they are faking these things to give justification for what is happening in the south to keep happening. And therefore, it must be a matter of your turn to Israel. Let us defend our territories. Yoruba people, Westerners, come together. Come together. Defend your territory. What happened now in Oyo State, the early hours of this morning and last night, should not be allowed to happen. And we share common boundaries with these people. And so therefore, those who perpetrated these things, they are still within the territories. Why can't we comb our forest? Comb our forest and kill all these marauders. Bury all of them. And let us set our land free. At least, while we still put on the table the discussion that should take place as far as Nigeria is concerned. Terrorism should have no place in any part of the South. Those who came to kill you, please let us take the bull by the horns and go ahead and ensure that they don't come and kill us in our houses. Let us go and wait for them at the boundary. Let us push them back to where they are coming from. On that note, my people, I want to say that we are ending this segment right now while I hand over to my brother, Dr. Agbons, to take us through the last segment of the day. Dr. Agbons, please.
Just this last week, on Thursday, the 3rd of June to be precise, the Edo State government announced the appointment of Engineer Osaigbovo Iyoha as the Chief of Staff to the Edo State governor. So finally, we are beginning to have some of these appointments coming up. Osaigbovo Iyoha is not new to governors. He's been in the mix. Until recently, before the ending of the first tenure of Governor Godwin Obaseki, he was the special assistant to the governor on political matters in Edo South. He has also served as a member of the Edo State House of Assembly, Oredo East constituency from 2015 to 2019. And he was the chief whip, the chief of discipline in that House of Assembly. So he's an engineer from Ambrose Ali University, Ekpoma, where he had his first degree. Second degree got from industrial engineering from Uniben, University of Benin, Great Uniben. And then he's also doing his PhD at the moment at the University of Benin. I think he's about concluding that. So he's quite a tested individual, very cerebral, quite disciplined. And we want to, from this show, congratulate him on this well-deserved appointment. Austin, what do you have to say on this new announcement this week?
Thank you so much, my brother, Dr. Tony Agbons. I can see you've done a very good research on the gentleman. I want to congratulate him as well with what you read out. I think his CV is very rich, and I think it's going to bring a new dimension to governance in Edo State. We've been a bit our mood this evening has been a bit different from usual. And I think this is a good news anyway, because it's what we've been saying for the last few weeks. I made a prediction in 2 editions ago of Comrade Show that I think the appointment will take place just around June and probably first week in July. So that appointment this week is giving us some signal. I want to appeal to the governor to quickly get its executive in place and let all the promised dividend of democracy begin to come. But on a special note, I say congratulations to Edo State, congratulations to Mr. Iyoa, and I want to say that we expect a lot from you. Let action speak more. Thank you.
Comrade Lamptey, what do you have to say concerning this announcement?
To be very honest, my brother, I think it's a very welcome development. It's the right step in the right direction. Of course, speaking the mind of many Edo people, everybody's happy, but it's not enough. People want to see more appointments. They want to see other offices, commissioners, special advisors, being filled up, so that the state can be running in full, in full swing. Inauguration, happened November last year. It's a long time, and so Edo people expect more. Why we congratulate, Iyoha, the COS of Edo State currently. We are hoping that Iyoha will quickly work with government to expedite action to ensure that the other offices are filled in good time, so that at least we can be sure that Edo State is running, in full jar. The reason is because a lot of people want to approach government, but everybody cannot approach the governor of Edo State. But if what you are doing has to do with agriculture, you want to go to the minister, the commissioner for agric. If it's with education, you want to go to the commissioner. If it's with arts, you want to go to the commissioner or special advisor, so that the burden for the governor and of course the SSG and the deputy governor will be hugely reduced. So Edo people really want a lot more, but for this, the governor has done, I think it's a very beautiful one. It rekindles the hope of the people, but the people expect more announcements in the coming days or weeks.
Yeah, thank you very much, Comrade Lamptey. I think in wrapping up, I want to say that I agree with what both of you have said. The State Executive Council need to be fully completed so that governance can run on autopilot, and because though people are expecting a lot. So we congratulate the COS on his appointment. So over to you, Lamptey.
Yes, of course, Nigerian people and Edo people all across the world, we want to say a very big thank you to you guys. Of course, there's been a lot of comments in the comment section from different people on YouTube, on Facebook. We want to say we thank you. For those who share the broadcast, we thank you as well. Arobonose Kokone, thank you so very much, my brother. Omonio Clifford on Facebook, I see you. Thank you so very much. Yes, Idu Descendant, I equally see you there. Jerry, One Touch, you guys have been wonderful. Funga Gumbo, I see you. Brat Oloton, you guys have Ella Bella, thank you so very much for joining. Yes, you guys have been participating. Some of your comments we can see. Of course, we are taking cognizance of them. They are very important comments. They are valid. Yes, Ogunleye, thank you very much for being part of the program. You guys are these are guys on Facebook. We equally have on YouTube. We have Mary Grace Brown. We have Sendem. We have Ude Paul. We have a number of persons too on YouTube, who joined us. Tina, Konka, thank you very much for being part of the program. Yes, Mr. Rock, I see you too on YouTube. Mr. Rock equally have participated quite much. Lily Destiny, thank you so very much. Of course, my brother Henry Bakari, is right with us too on Facebook. Ken Imodu, thank you so very much for joining the broadcast. You guys are wonderful. There are so many of you guys. We cannot mention all the names. Omoegbe Agboefo, thank you so very much for joining. That's on YouTube. A lot of participation. Please help share the broadcast. If you are with us on YouTube, subscribe to our YouTube channel. Always, all the time we are here talking about national issues, Edo State issues, global issues, and that's what we do. And of course, it's what we are going to continue to do. So on that note, my people, I want to say thank you very much for being part of it. But just to let some cat out of the bag, for those who may not be aware yet, the Edo State government has inaugurated a committee to organize a very big program to mark 30 years of Edo State in existence. Edo State in August of this year will be 30 years old, and this government is going to mark that event in a way that probably we have never seen before. It's going to be huge. We are glad that effort has been made to make the Edo people in the diaspora to participate in this program. So I am very sure that in the coming days and weeks, we are going to be getting more information about this. A lot is being planned, as I'm aware. Certain committees have been set up all across in Edo State and diaspora, and people are working to make this a grand event. And I think, from us, it is worth celebrating. Within the doom and gloom around us, our country right now, in fact, there is nothing better to look up to right now than a week-long event where we will visit our Edones in the proper way, culturally, socially, and otherwise. All that is being planned right now. Committees on ground working in Nigeria. A committee already is working, in tandem with those on ground, from the diaspora, and people from all parts of the world. Edo people, they are part of the committee. And so I just want to, reel out this information. Let's be aware, so that by the time the news starts coming and things start happening, you understand that this is where we are. Edo State is going to be 30 years in August. So Edo at 30 is going to be a grand event. If there's something that you can equally do, you can contribute to make this even a bigger event. Because from the feelers I got, it is an event that we want to celebrate all across the world. While it is happening in Edo State, it is happening in America, it's happening in Australia, it's happening in Japan, it's happening in Germany, in the UK. Everywhere we have Edo people, we must be ready to celebrate, Edo at 30. So every Edo association all across the world, okay, please package yourselves for August of this year. We are going to collectively mark Edo at 30, and we are going to draw that wavelength and connect it, that the world will understand that Benin Kingdom is truly, the Edo Kingdom is truly the biggest and the best and the most notable in this world. On that note, my people, I want to say thank you for being part of this program. My name is Comrade Lamte Oriahi, and of course, I want to, give the baton to my brother, Comrade Austin Iremira, to of course say a parting word for this edition until we see you again. Austin Iremira, please.
Thank you so much, my brother Lamte. Thank you, our very, very lettered Dr. Tony Agbons, and our wonderful viewers and those that made comment on our session. It's been a great one, our regular Sunday tonic. I want to say may God bless you. I wish you a very good week, and we'll come your way again next Sunday.
Yes, Dr. Agbons, please.
Yeah, my brother, pharmacist Austin Iremira, I join you to thank all our viewers who have been with us all throughout this show today. My brother, Comrade Lamte, thank you too. I wish all of you a very blessed new week. God bless you all.
Thank you, my brothers. May God bless, man. So on that note, my people, have a good night. Have a blessed week ahead. Bye for now.
Make Comrade Show with Comrade Lamte Oriahi, live on Facebook and YouTube. Like us, follow us, and be the first to know. This is the Comrade Show. Make Comrade Show.
Iwie doni yan sesese ni enegbe bahia mwegbe na ya simi usirina donu gboriri e won me nana wege ya fian ga yarame na gije na afian magi gabie abi pata izigan kewa kanapa na si an ri yoto kian yewo wa kine pe na mu ewe utezi edera mu ihun kioma umiewo ni ari abayo aba kumazi sopan magazo ebi o na ruru pa yotebo wa biebi yari doha ona imwinari oba pa zevi dolewo we na ruru pari dun yedogbonu ye yari ye nwana aba yo boru gi biebi na aduza ere ni ma yari dora bi efan we riwe dora angeli owu pare do otu angeli upabu hun otagbon tuyuku gbagba yone be ni ara ya wi yobo nu pa me na gba odin do ya usetin ti hun taro tuna comrade lamte Oriaki. Uvien Owutamuta +4474 438 229 094. Edonu Zomo. Agege yuwabo urupa mahin.
Lighting up a Comrade Lante